Quick shout out with Kanye West. It came out that he's the richest man in the world, $6.6 billion.
Richest black man.
Richest black man
in
in
America.
the world. In America.
Not the world.
Yes, $6.6 billion. Then it came back and they said, Forbes came back and said, well, it's not really $6.6 billion. It's $1.8 billion. Robert Smith is really still the richest black man in America at $6 billion. Vista Equities. Then the Nigerian Aliko is worth $11.8 billion. But the reality is the Yeezy brand is valued at $3.2 to $4.7 billion. Let me say that one more time. The Yeezy brand is valued at $3.2 to $4.7 billion. You know, the other day he announced his shoes at $200. You know, it's sold out by 7 a.m. Fully sold out by 7 a.m. Can you imagine how crazy that is? People bought the shoes and flipped it for $400 the same day on eBay. Okay, so what do you think about what Kanye's got going on?
Okay, this is a really, really fascinating story.
Yeah.
I think the person that's probably offended the most is Jay-Z. As hard as he's worked, how many different things he's involved in, and to think that he has to look up to Kanye West on wealth. I guarantee you this is pissing off Jay-Z in a big way. I also find it also very ironic that he has elevated himself, allegedly, to being the most wealthiest or the richest black person in America from shoes. Right? That he's had for, what, 7, 8 years? And Michael Jordan has built a much bigger brand with shoes,
that's a good point.
owns an NBA team, and he has passed him up that quickly. By the way, Michael is Nike, Yeezy is Adidas and Gap. Now, that was a brilliant move, putting their shoes into Gap and getting kids exposed to it young. So, now, if you peel back a little bit here, there's some smoke and mirrors going on with this stuff because I think it was Bloomberg first that reported this story, and then Forbes carved it up and chopped it up and said, it's complete BS. You're not worth $6.6 billion. So, remember what happened with Kylie Jenner, right? When Forbes put her on the cover as being the first or the youngest self-made billionaire female in the world, right?
Yes.
And then it came out a little bit later that maybe Kris Kardashian had been fudging some of that, and they felt that they got used a little bit. So Forbes is incredibly pissed off, I think, at the Kardashian family, even though Kanye is exiting it, you know, eventually here. I think this has something to do with a little bit payback, you know, to go back there and look at that story and try to discredit it because of how they were burned with the Kardashian number in the past. So I think there's some of that with Forbes involved here and Bloomberg. And Forbes you look at as the Bible, as the gospel when it comes to personal wealth like that. They've got a cottage industry of ranking the richest people in the world. But this has got so many layers. It's fascinating. It's the Kardashians. It's shoes. It's Nike. It's Rich. It's Adidas. But I think there's something to be said about a personal battle between Forbes and Kris Kardashian and the extension of her and that family.
You're into this story.
Yeah, I just find it really, I find it
lots
interesting.
Of ups and downs and curves. With Kanye, I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with a broke, socialist, uncapitalist type of person. I mean, when's the last time you shop at the Gap? The fact that he's bringing the Gap to relevancy. Next thing you know, he might do a deal with Abercrombie and Fitch. I feel like it's the 90s again. But obviously a brilliant dude, polarizing guy, and go get your money, Kanye. Obviously he's single now, so I don't think he's going to have a shortage of suitors.
Is Kanye a semi-genius? Would you put him as a semi-genius?
Yeah. Me
You
personally,
would?
I would,
Yeah.
just with his creativity. You know, I mean, and he owns that brand 100%. He owns the whole thing. And he's got final say on all creative decisions. So I think he is a genius to come up with a brand that sells like that. Now, we don't know what the volume is, right? They might produce a pretty low number, so it does sell out rather quickly, which I'm sure is the case. But he is a genius. He's created this.
I think he's got confidence of the highest magnitude that even, like, most people are like, oh, you're crazy, bro. He's like, yeah, I am. That's right. And he just embraces the craziness. And I mean, he's got mental anxiety and, you know, all sorts of stuff going on. But yeah, I think, you know, musically, music's sick. His ideas, you can't tie that guy down. I mean, Kim, who knows what happened with that.
By the way, I think Kanye is battling with something right now. This is my opinion. Okay, I tell you what he's battling with right now.
Tell us.
I think he's battling with what has he experienced today. So think about it. Here's a guy that's produced some of the greatest hip hop, you know, songs. He's crushed incredible albums where the world would listen to it.
Yep.
He's done well as an entrepreneur. He's married the modern day Marilyn Monroe, whether you like her or not. Kim Kardashian is the modern day. I don't know who you put ahead of her as a Marilyn Monroe. We've talked about this before. So at what level hasn't he reached? Who has he partied with? Who hasn't he partied with? He's been to the Trump. He's been to the White House. He's met presidents. He's met prime ministers. He's done everything, right? I think he's at a point right now where for him the battle is, do I continue being this famous, powerful person making money, making products, or do I go after purpose? I think this guy can really have a massive impact in the world with how he himself grew as an individual. And I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I own a domain called KanyeCon, okay? I bought for him, KanyeCon, that I would love for Kanye to be a guest on the podcast, even here, or on Valuetainment to interview him, because there are some questions I want to ask him that no one's ever asked, and I'd like to be able to ask that of him. And I want to kind of go deeper on the way he processes issues and how he views certain things. But in order to get that domain, I'd love to have a sit-down with him. Anybody who knows how to get a hold of this man, I'd love to have a meeting with
Would love that.
Kanye. I think the world would appreciate. I don't think the right interview with him's been done yet. I don't think the right interview has been done with him yet. He's been on a lot of different platforms, but the right interview hasn't been done with. I once won $9 from Kai. Okay, was it $9 or a dollar? I don't know what. $10. What was the number? $9. I won $9.
Not
from
$10.
No, it was $9. Yeah, Kai loves giving me money.
Kai wouldn't bet
Kai
10. He would only
loves
bet
giving
9.
me money. It's
That's
just
his threshold.
No, but that wasn't a bet. That was if I say it. That's not a bet. I never said I'm betting you. So it's a say.
Was that the Joe Rogan?
Yeah, Joe
okay.
Rogan. He thought it was going to be bigger than Elon Musk. I said, I don't know about that. I just think Kanye needs, and Joe did a good job with that interview. I just think I have philosophical questions for this guy, not just entertaining questions.
Yeah,
I want to go deeper. Like,
Well,
dude,
he'd
tell
probably
me.
want to be challenged too by that.
Yeah,
I think he
I
would.
want that kind of a conversation with him. But listen, more power to him.
Go to
Brought
Montana.
you brought up the purpose with Kanye. I
Yeah.
mean, you've clearly seen some sort of shift over the last few years with Kanye, that it was all music and then it turned into fashion. And over the last really couple of years, it's been church and politics. And, you know, he used to, come from Chicago and doing his thing with Jay-Z in New York and, in the studio doing his thing. Now he's living on a freaking ranch in Wyoming and he's doing Sunday churches and Kanye's Sunday service. And obviously he was running for president, major air quotes going on there if you're listening just audio. I think he's finding his purpose, and I don't
think he's joking around when he says he's running for president, by the way.
I think he's that sick in the head. He think he could actually
It's
win.
not sick in the head. I don't think he's sick in the head. I think he's that much driven by purpose.
Yeah, I don't mean sick in the head in the
Yeah.
negative way,
Yeah.
but like crazy enough to
I
think
see. Okay,
he
I
could
got
be.
it. Yeah.
Here's
the
the other
president.
thing. Once he aligned with God, having his Sunday services, and he supported Trump and he wore the MAGA hat, he got turned on by the mainstream media. So they're throwing out there that bipolar depression, that all the mental aspects of, is he crazy, this kind of thing. Yeah, he's crazy rich. That's what he is. And I think he's really toying with the media exactly how he wants to. I would imagine, and you can already tell that it's going to be, at least on paper, or at least the way it looks, is going to be an amicable divorce with Kim. I mean, it looks like, with that many kids involved and that much money, that they're going to get through this thing pretty, peacefully. So, yeah, I think the media now, because of where he's aligned himself, just with his Christian values and the fact that politically he's not just buying into everything that the left wants him to, he's going to be targeted and he's going to be painted as kind of a villain. So you got to read through some of these headlines in mainstream media.
Yeah, I mean, wish him all the best. I hope
Are you a Kanye West fan?
I would say I've always been, and Jennifer always with you. He's a very talented guy. I've watched, I watch every one of his interviews, whether he did the Ellen DeGeneres one where he stood up and people were like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Whether it's the Big Boy interview, whether it's the Elon Musk interview. I just like the way this guy thinks. I think people like that have to be properly interviewed on the way they process issues. I think the world can learn from that. And by the way, I think Elon Musk also is another guy that we have to get deeper on the way he thinks. There's a chippy side to them where it's like, you poke and it's like then the magic comes out. Like I think there's a part where they need to be interviewed specifically with Kanye. So I'm curious to know what's going to happen with that. And every time there's an interview out there, I just enjoy every single one of them because the guys are fascinating. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.